Hey everyone. It's pretty awesome to watch how Gen Z is leading the charge when it comes to self-awareness.
It really is fascinating.
Like growing up with the internet hasn't always been easy, right? But you guys are finding ways to deal with all the pressure and figuring out who you really are.
Exactly. It's like Gen Z instinctively understands that self-awareness is the key, not just to survive, but to thrive in this crazy digital age we live in.
I love that. So we're diving deep today into how this is all happening. What are the things Gen Z is already doing and what can everyone learn from them?
Well, one of the most interesting things is how Gen Z is taking mindfulness and actually reclaiming it.
Oh, tell me more about that.
It's not this like esoteric out there concept anymore,
Yeah.
it's becoming a practical tool they can use in everyday life.
Okay, so what does that actually look like in practice? What are some things Gen Z is doing to bring mindfulness into their lives?
They're using techniques that fit right into their routines, which makes a huge difference.
Ex-
For example, instead of feeling overwhelmed by like traditional meditation, they're using these apps like Calm or Headspace
Oh, yeah?
for guided meditations that only take a few minutes.
That's smart. Because who has time for, an hour of sitting in silence when you have a million things going on?
No.
But 5 minutes, that feels doable.
Exactly. And it's not just about formal meditation either. Gen Z is finding ways to be mindful all throughout the day,
Okay, I like it.
like taking a few deep breaths before a stressful exam, or listening to a calming playlist while commuting, or even just taking a moment to appreciate a beautiful sunset. It's all about finding those little pockets of peace in all the chaos.
I love that. It's also like they're hacking the system, right?
Yeah.
Finding ways to integrate mindfulness into their already jam-packed lives. It's
Yeah.
not adding more to their to-do list. It's about finding little moments of intention and presence within the chaos.
You got it. And what's really cool is that this awareness extends to their digital lives as well.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
Gen Z is starting to question the relationship they have with technology and finding ways to use it more mindfully.
Okay, but let's be real. We're not going to just ditch our phones and laptops completely, right?
Right. It's not about going completely off the grid. It's more about being conscious of how they're using technology
Yeah,
and making deliberate choices.
I see.
For example, setting limits on screen time, muting notifications from social media, even being more selective about who they follow online.
So it's about taking back control instead of letting technology control them.
Exactly. They're realizing that constantly scrolling through social media can fuel those feelings of comparison and inadequacy. So they're creating boundaries to protect their mental health.
Which is huge. It's like saying, my well-being is more important than likes and followers. That's a powerful message.
It really is. And this mindful approach to technology also extends to how they consume information.
How so?
Instead of mindlessly scrolling through news feeds, they're seeking out sources that align with their values and perspectives. They're becoming more discerning about the information they allow into their minds.
That's so important these days, especially in today's world, because we're bombarded with information from all sides. It's like they're curating their own mental diets,
Uh-huh.
choosing to focus on what nourishes them, uplifts them, rather than what drains them or overwhelms them.
Exactly. And this all ties back to self-awareness so well.
Yeah, I see that.
By being mindful of how they use their technology and consume information, they're gaining a much deeper understanding of what influences their thoughts and feelings and behaviors.
Yeah, so it's like a domino effect. Mindfulness in one area leads to greater self-awareness overall.
Exactly. And then this self-awareness empowers them to make more conscious choices in all areas of their lives, from relationships to their academics, to their future career paths. They're becoming the authors of their own stories, instead of letting external forces dictate their path.
I love that. This is so inspiring. It's like Gen Z is showing everyone that self-awareness isn't something you have to wait for. It's something you can cultivate right now,
Absolutely.
in this very moment.
Right now.
And the more they do that,
Yeah.
the more they cultivate this self-awareness, the more they're able to embrace their own unique strengths and passions and values.
Yeah.
Like they're figuring out what makes them tick, what lights them up, and what they actually want to contribute to the world.
It's inspiring to see.
This has given me so much hope for the future. It's like Gen Z is showing us that a more mindful, more self-aware world is not only possible, it's already happening.
It really is happening. It is inspiring, like watching a whole generation wake up to their own potential.
I know, right? Like, it makes me wonder, what is actually driving this whole shift? Why is Gen Z so drawn to self-awareness?
I think a big part of it is like a natural reaction to the world they've inherited.
Mm,
Think about it. Growing up with climate change, social and political upheaval, this constant uncertainty.
Right.
They've seen what happens, like firsthand, when there's a lack of awareness and
Yeah.
how important it is to take responsibility for their own well-being and for the well-being of the planet, too.
It's like they're realizing that the old ways of doing things just aren't working. And they're looking for something different, something more authentic and sustainable.
Exactly. And self-awareness is at the heart of that. It's
Mhm.
all about understanding their values, their beliefs, their motivations, so they can make choices that are true to themselves and what they want to create in the world.
Like building a foundation of self-knowledge that can help them face any challenge that comes their way.
Exactly. And that's where mindfulness comes in.
Okay, how so?
It's the tool that helps them develop that self-awareness.
Hmm.
When they practice mindfulness, they're learning to observe their thoughts and emotions and their behaviors without judging themselves,
Oh, that's
which
interesting.
helps them to see themselves more clearly and make more conscious choices.
So it's like mindfulness gives them a moment to step back from all the craziness and really tune in to what's going on inside.
Exactly. That space between what's happening and how they react. That's where the real magic is.
I like that.
It helps them to make conscious choices instead of just reacting without thinking.
Yeah, it's like you're saying they're not just reacting to life anymore. They're actually responding with intention
Exactly.
and purpose.
Yeah.
This is making me think about how we always say Gen Z are digital natives, but maybe they're actually mindfulness natives.
Ooh, I like that. Because in a way they are. They're growing up understanding how important mental and emotional well-being really is, and they're not afraid to look for tools and resources to help them grow.
And on top of that,
Yeah.
they're sharing these tools and resources with each other, creating a culture of self-care and support.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. They're normalizing conversations about mental health, mindfulness,
Yeah.
self-awareness, breaking down the stigma, and creating a more open and accepting environment for everyone.
I love that. This is making me so hopeful for the future. It's like they're paving the way to a more mindful,
Yeah.
more compassionate, and more connected world.
It all starts with that individual journey of self-discovery. Each person who takes the time to cultivate self-awareness is adding to a collective shift in consciousness.
Like a ripple effect.
Exactly. One person's awareness inspires another and another, and it just keeps spreading outward, creating this wave of positive change.
And that wave is already building.
It is. You see it in how popular mindfulness apps are, the growing interest in meditation and yoga, the fact that mental health is getting more attention in schools and workplaces.
It's like self-awareness is becoming a mainstream value, which is so exciting.
It really is. And the more it becomes part of our culture, the more we'll see how positive its impact is on individuals, on communities, and the world as a whole.
Okay, so we talked about why Gen Z is embracing self-awareness, but let's get practical. What are some things they're doing that our listeners can actually try out in their own lives?
Well, one simple but powerful practice is gratitude journaling.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
You just take a few minutes every day to write down 3 things you're grateful for. It could be anything, really. A sunny day, a delicious meal, a kind gesture from a friend.
I like
Focusing on the good, even when things are tough, can really change your perspective and boost your mood.
like training your brain to look for the positives
Yeah.
instead of getting stuck on the negatives.
Exactly. Another thing they're doing is setting intentions.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Before you start your day, take a moment to think about what you want to bring into your experience.
Mhm.
Do you want to be more patient, more focused, more kind to yourself?
Yeah,
Setting an intention sets the tone for your day and helps you stay true to your values.
it's like a little reminder throughout the day to stay connected to yourself and your goals.
Exactly. And another really cool thing they're doing is taking digital detoxes.
Okay, what's that?
Taking a break from social media
Gotcha.
for a few hours, a day, even a whole weekend.
Well,
Use that time to reconnect with yourself and the things that make you happy. Spend time in nature, read a book, have a good conversation with someone you care about.
I need to try that. It's so easy to get caught up in the endless scroll and lose track of time. A digital detox sounds like the perfect way to reset and recharge.
It is, and these are just a few examples. The important thing is to find what works best for you and actually make it a habit.
And to be patient with yourself, right? Self-awareness is a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. There will be ups and downs, moments when things are clear, and moments when you feel lost. The important thing is to keep showing up for yourself, keep exploring, and keep growing.
That's a great reminder. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present, curious, and committed to the process. It's amazing, right, how Gen Z is taking control of their well-being and like really diving into self-discovery. It feels like they're creating a blueprint for a more mindful future that we can all learn from.
I agree. And one of the best lessons they're teaching us is that self-awareness isn't this like impossible goal. It's something we can work on every day through small, consistent actions.
So it's not about making these big sweeping changes. It's more about those little moments of mindfulness we can fit into our lives.
Exactly. It's about bringing awareness to our daily experiences, like how we react to stress, how we connect with others, how we use our phones. It's about tuning into those subtle signals our minds and bodies are sending us.
You know, we talk so much about listening to others, but we rarely talk about listening to ourselves.
That's so true. Self-awareness is really just the practice of deep listening, turning inward, paying attention to what's happening inside.
And what happens when we start listening? What are some of the benefits that Gen Z is already experiencing through this focus on self-awareness?
Well, one of the first things you might notice is a sense of calm and clarity.
Hmm.
When you're more in tune with your thoughts and emotions, you're less likely to get swept away by them. You have more control, which it can feel really empowering, especially when you're stressed.
So instead of feeling like your emotions are controlling you, you can take a step back
Yeah.
and just observe them.
Exactly. And that space between what happens and how you respond, that's where the real growth happens.
I love that.
It lets you make choices instead of just reacting on impulse.
It's like you're learning to pause, reflect, and then choose a better way to respond.
Exactly. And that can affect everything, how you handle conflicts, how you go after your goals.
It sounds like self-awareness is like the ultimate life hack, giving you this amazing advantage in navigating, well, everything.
It really is. And another benefit Gen Z is showing us is the power of self-acceptance.
Oh, tell me more about that.
When you're more self-aware, you can see your strengths and weaknesses more clearly, with more compassion.
So instead of beating yourself up for not being perfect, you can accept those imperfections
Yeah,
as part of what makes you you.
exactly. And that self-acceptance frees up so much energy that you can then use to grow and change in positive ways.
This is so inspiring. It's like Gen Z is reminding us that self-awareness isn't about being perfect. It's about embracing who you are, flaws and all.
And that's where true confidence comes from, and resilience. Not from denying our imperfections, but from accepting them as part of being human.
This whole conversation has been so eye-opening. It feels like Gen Z is leading a quiet revolution, redefining what self-awareness means, and showing us that a more mindful world is actually possible.
It's an honor to witness this transformation happening, and I can't wait to see what this generation accomplishes as they continue to tap into their power and potential.
To all our amazing listeners out there, remember that self-awareness is a journey, not a destination. It's a practice, a commitment to being there for yourself every single day. So be patient, be curious, and most importantly, be kind to yourself along the way.
And never underestimate the power of your own awareness to make a positive difference in your life and in the world.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.